Hey everyone, it's Apache here and welcome back to another episode of Modded Megaquarium, the epic freshwater sandbox. Thank you very much for joining me today and continuing to show your support for the series. If you do enjoy this episode, please leave a like and a comment, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. So I've got the game on pause at the moment because as soon as I press play, we're going to get a research screen come up, because I have just included a couple more mods which I've been waiting to come out for a while. This is the Moneymaker mod by, I believe it's Kadar? Yes, it is by Kadar. So this is a mod that adds a lot of new different things into the game which are all designed to actually make money within the game. Which is brilliant because that's one of the best things we need to do at the moment, is try and get enough money to be able to do all of these different episodes and buy all of these huge different things that we want to buy. So we've got a lot of different things here, and I've also added in a few more of the terrarium stuff here as well, the terrarium tunnel tanks. Because the terrariums is something I want to have a look into today, have our first look into that. So what do we have here? We have a mini fridge, we have a tea thermos, we have a salad bar, we have the corn dog displays, we have a milkshake machine, we have a register, and we have the ice cream cart. Now I think first of all I'm going to go for this ice cream cart. It's one of the best ones, I think. It looks incredible. And I haven't really done much between episodes at all, as you can see. I've just been playing around with a couple of different floor designs and stuff, seeing what works and what doesn't. I think this is the pine, which is a little bit different to the regular flooring. But this is the space I'm going to be working in today with some of the terrarium stuff. I want to try and open up this room with the terrariums, and I believe I'm going to put some stuff on the floor. If we have a look at the paints, I'm thinking actually doing something along the lines of the jungle paint. So if we just have a look what this is actually going to be like, we put this all the way across. It's a bit William Morris on the walls. I don't know William Morris, he's the I think, I can't remember what century he was. But he was the guy that did all the floral wallpaper designs. Most of the old, I suppose, retro style, anything from Regency up to 1970s, that kind of classic patterned floral style wallpaper. He did all of those, or most of them anyway, or at least the ones that you see are modelled after the ones that he did. And that's what this reminds me of. So if we get that again and we go for the floor here as well, it'll give us a kind of a dirt type thing on the floor, which will be quite good for the terrarium. Now terrariums are all about the land-based animals, and they are about reptiles as well. So they are land-based, but amphibians as well. So we've got all kinds of things like millipedes, scorpions, different types of slugs and snails, there's beetles, all kinds of different stuff. And it completely opens up the game to a completely new way of playing. I've also added in a lot of these as well, so I've got a lot more stuff from each of these levels to actually get researched. So this is a lot of it here. We have the cockroaches, moths, hissing cockroach, we have hermit crab. So I'm going to need to start actually getting some of this stuff researched as well. We have stag beetles, a few new damselfish from some of the mods that have been updated as well. There's an emperor scorpion. So all of this stuff basically is stuff we're going to be having a look at today. Monarch butterfly, this looks incredible, look at that. It looks so lifelike, it really does. We have monarch butterflies, or something very, very similar to this, and they do look almost exactly like that. It's incredible. So yeah, leaf insects, titan beetle, forest scorpion. I think they have some crabs in this pack as well. Oh, and giant huntsman spider as well. That looks incredible. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be going through. I don't know what to go for first. Let's just start at the beginning, I suppose. We can actually get some of this stuff done very, very quickly. Let's just get all the level 1 stuff out of the way. And then we can start, I might actually start working on one of the the much higher level ones, just to give us a bit of respite from the constant constant research that this is going to be as we go through. Let's just get a few of these done so we can actually have a look at them now. So there is the rank 2 ones. Whoops, didn't actually mean to do that one, but hey, never mind, it's quick. So in rank 3, let's go for the what's this one? Vinegaroon. I have no idea what a vinegaroon is. I've never heard of one. This is going to go fairly quickly as well. So once this is done, we'll get a much longer researching one to do, and then we can actually start having a look at the tanks. Because as soon as I press this button, this is just going to research. There we go. Okay. Let's go up to rank 9. Let's see if there's any in here we can go for. There's giant hermit crab. Doesn't look like there's too much. Rank 8. Let's just get something from rank 9 and we will go from there. So unicorn soul, that will be fine. And this will take a long time. There we go. So the tanks themselves, if we have a look at terrarium, we have a lot of different stuff in this mod. We have the actual tanks themselves, and then we have the heaters. They've got their own different type of pump, so we have the air pumps here as well. So we're gonna have to use those. I think what I'll do is I'll bring a large air pump out straight away so we can put this down. And don't actually need it to be connected to anything for now, but that'll be fine. Let's have a look at some of these tanks. Now essentially these are tanks which have been modelled with all of the water removed, so that it's just the ground, just the sand or the dirt at the bottom. If you change it over to freshwater, which is into Megaterrarium is classed as temperate, whereas just the regular saltwater tanks are classed as arid, so like a desert environment. So I think the first one we'll get a ground terrarium. This looks similar to a lagoon tank, so I'll bring that out to there and we'll just have a look what these are like. So not got the connected textures on the top of it, but I believe that is because we have to have a glass lid on this, whereas usually you would just have the water texture above it. So that's why you've got the connected textures on here. It should be possible to actually remove these connected textures, but they may be there for a reason as well. I'm not sure. It's just something that the mod developer has decided to keep in or add in. But as you can see, no water in the tank at all. We can now actually connect this up to that. And we can actually start putting stuff in this if we want. However, first of all, I suppose we should actually add in a heater onto this. And now the heater's attached, and then we're actually ready to start putting stuff in there. I believe at least. We have heat. We have 100% water quality, so that's good. It means we don't need filtration, I don't think. Might need air filters and stuff, but it doesn't look like we do. So let's go for some of these animals then. If we go into freshwater, we can actually see if we've got any here which are which need that. I don't think we do yet. Oh yeah, we've got the European stag beetle here. Now it needs acidic or neutral water. Now with this mod you have to kind of use your imagination a little bit. Because the game is coded the way it is, the actual base game, because Twice Circled, the developers of the game, put a lot of this kind of text, this requires acidic or neutral water, that is fixed text which these icons have. So when we create mods, we can't actually change what these say, which is a bit of a shame. I wish it was different in that way. It means that we could add our own stickers, we could add our own completely change the game. Megaterrarium does the absolute best it can, but you do have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, because it still says stuff like requires acidic or neutral water. in Megaterrarium terms, what that means is it requires a medium amount of humidity. So we have a big humidifier on this here, so it might I believe it is above 70% humidity is what we would class as acidic on one of these tanks, and then anything which is between about 40% and 70% is neutral, and then below 40% is the neutral water. So yeah, between 40 and 70 is either. So like this one is acidic or neutral. So this is either it basically falls within the medium band of humidity. It's quite difficult to explain when you're used to just like a binary system of acidic or neutral. When you have a sliding scale, change that over to a sliding scale, it's a little bit more difficult. So we'll get the register next with the Moneymakers mod. So I want to see if that beetle will actually fit into here. So we'll go to here again, into Freshwater. And I've got the game paused here because it might not like it. So we'll get the European stag beetle. We'll get 2 of those. And it does actually look like they do like them. However, they are so small. A lot of the creatures in this mod are really small. So it doesn't really make sense having this huge tank to actually cater just for these. So what I think we're going to do, now that we know that these can work in here, we just need some bogwood, and they need fruit as their food stuff. Then we'll delete this for now, and then we will actually grab a much more sensible tank. So we're just going to use the small terrariums here, and I'm going to put these essentially just along the sides, and I'm going to want a few of these. I'm going to want a corner tank on here, so we'll get a there we go, large corner terrarium. That could be a nice big one there. However, I'm going to do it a bit more like that. That'll actually give us a 3 wide gap here and a 3 wide gap there, so that's quite good. And we're going to need a few of these air pumps for this, but I want to bring these all the way down here as well. And that'll give us a lot of different tanks, small tanks, but a lot of different ones, to be able to have a lot of these different types of animals in. So let's get a few more of these small tanks, and I'm going to keep them at this very small size, because I don't think we're going to need too much. I'll bring this one out to be a bit of a bigger one here. So these are actually going to need some platforms all the way down there, and they will need, come on, get rid of that one, and then we can add that into there, that into there, and there we go. So we've got all the platforms around, we've got some stairs up in there. Now what we don't actually have in here, which I should have thought of, I'm actually going to sell that one and that one. We don't have a way in. Actually forgot to put a way in. So we will grab one of these small tanks, put that there, and we will add a staff door in just there. Okay. So next we're going to need enough of these pumps to be able to attach to all of these. Now I believe, again, this is really just cosmetic. The pumps in this game will work for pretty much any tank. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tanks in total. So we could either have 3 of these, or we could actually do one of my big tanks. However, mine, my big pumps, this hydroelectric pump here will actually feed 12 tanks, so it would actually do all of these. However, thematically, I want to try and keep all the terrarium stuff together. So we're not going to do that. We are actually going to use 3 of these air pumps. So if we have a look in here, we have these air pumps here. I'm just going to add these on just there for now. Now we may need to actually move these around a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in one of these there, which is going to connect to the first 4. Now I should actually have more than 4 here, thinking about it, because what I really should do is put them all together onto one network. And that would actually mean, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that one to there. I'm going to move this one to there. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we're going to move this one to there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that looks like it should do perfectly well. We have that one to there. The next one, we add the next few tanks. Oh no, because it's going to this one. We need 1 extra of these pumps. But it'll only need to be a small pump so we can connect these 2 together. Because now we attach these 4. And then we want 1 more of these, which only needs to be a medium. And we can actually put that somewhere else to give us a bit more space for whatever else needs to be attached to it. And that one can connect to there. Okay, so we have all of the different tanks connected together. That can be tucked away in the corner there. That's actually all we need humidity wise for these. So that's good. Now we may end up needing something else to go along with this. But for now that is actually all we need. So I suppose we can actually get the paint in here and actually paint this to be the jungle paint. So just go for all of these to be jungle. There we go. And so now we can actually start putting some animals on these. So off camera I've just been going through this research list and researching everything I can see from the terrarium mod. I'm not sure if this is, I don't think it is, but because it's a sea cucumber, so no it's not. Yeah, I think I've gone through and got almost all of them, if not all of them. So I'm going to put another fairly long thing onto research. I want another starfish, so we'll go for that one. I'm actually going to pause the game here because I want to start adding the animals into this one now. So I believe that a lot of the animals that we're going to add in are the temperate animals. And so all of these might actually change to the equivalent of freshwater tanks. So having done all of this and set all of these networks up, I think I'm actually going to need to get rid of these just for a minute, but while we put the animals in, so we know which tanks are going to be the temperate ones and which ones are going to be the arid ones. So yeah, I'm going to actually get rid of the last kind of 5 minutes work and fill these up first, because having a look at the animals, there's a lot of both different, of each different type. So if we come to the freshwater stuff here, I don't know if there's a tag to actually show us. So let's just see if they do actually have any kind of tag. No, it doesn't look like they do. It would be nice if the Megaterrarium animals could have their own tag, so a search tag, so we can actually search for them within the search menu here. And then we'd have a list of all the different animals, all the different land animals that can fit into these tanks here. I believe if we go for like land, then it will show us some, only really the ones that are like this, which actually specifically needs land or something like that, or has land in the description of them. Yeah, a species of land crab, you can see that. So yeah, ones like this that actually have it in the description but you can actually add a search tag entry to the data files, and you'll be able to search for them with anything you add in there. So something like Megaterrarium if we could just search for Megaterrarium, and that would bring up a list of all the different animals that are available within this mod, and you add that to the core mod file, so that it'll be available in all the different sub mod files available there. It's just a note to the mod author there. Anyway, let's have a look, because we're going to have to do this the longer way and actually go through this and see which ones are available. Now I suppose I can do it this way. We know there are a few spiders in here, and I definitely want this giant huntsman spider here to inhabit the large tank just there. So that is going to go into there. It obviously needs a few different things, that's fine, we can sort that out. But there you go, there is the first of our animals, the giant huntsman spider. I love that thing, brilliant. I think also in here, if it's possible, I would love to have some of the things like the scorpions in there. Now these are all freshwater, so this is both, it can go into either. This is bulletproof as well, which is good. This one's bulletproof, and so this one. So there's no issues about any of these going in with each other. I don't think. Oh, cannot be housed with any non-arachnid. Okay. So, yeah, cannot be housed with other arachnid, and cannot be housed with any non-arachnid. So it looks like this giant huntsman spider here is going to be all on his own in this one, in this cage. So we'll have to make that look nice for him. And I think that's going to be true with a lot of these. That's kind of why I created so many different tanks here, so that we could have all of these in different areas. Now I don't want all the spiders to be together in, like, I think there's 3 spiders in them. Yep, there's 3 little spids here. So the red back spiders I think we can have over here. Now these are arid. Now can these be... No, you see, you can only have one of these in a tank, and that can be the only thing in that tank. And I believe it might be the same for this other one as well. The Brazilian wandering spider here. Yep, cannot be housed with any non-arachnid, cannot be housed with any arachnid. So this one again has to be on its own. We'll place that one in there. So we've got them nicely spaced out between each other there. So that's one set of animals. I think the scorpions, they might be similar. So we have 3 different types of scorpion here. Yep, again. Cannot be housed with any non-arachnid, cannot be housed with arachnid. This one is actually sociable, so we could have 2 of these in there. And then this one has to be on its own as well. So we'll place that one into there. We'll place this one into there. And we'll place this one here, and we'll have 2 of those there. So we're getting a lot of different error messages, but I'm going to ignore those essentially. We can get rid of those for now, and we can get rid of those. I'll keep these up just to remind us that there are things wrong, but I don't want all of this screen spam at the moment until we've got everything else in there. Now what I am tempted to do is turn this into a butterfly enclosure actually, so that would mean, say, like moving him out and into there. He does look a little bit small for that, but that might be okay. We may be able to put him in somewhere else eventually. I am thinking about turning this whole room into a big terrarium room, and we will fill it out over time as well. So I'm only going to open up this area in this episode, and then we will sort this area out in subsequent episodes. So we have now, what else do we have? Let's see. We know we have like slugs and snails and millipedes and all kinds. I think the butterflies should be next. We have butterflies and we have moths. So, of course, there's all the butterfly fish. We have, if I put moths and butterflies, then no, that doesn't give us all of that. Okay, so let's just have a look first of all for the butterflies. So we have two different types. We have the glasswing butterfly here, and we have the monarch butterfly. Now they seem like they're going to be fine together. They can both go into the same tank. So I'm going to put two of those in, because they are sociable. I'm going to put two of these in, and I may actually fill this up with other stuff as well, with more of these eventually to make it look a bit more full. But I think I want to have a look at the moths as well. We have two different moths. We have the owl moth and the atlas moth, and again these are classed as temperate terrariums, and they need only a moderate amount of humidity, so these ones will be fine with each other and with the butterflies as well. So we'll go for two of those and two of those. So we have four different types of creature in here. Very, very nice. If we have a look at this, they don't actually have too many needs between them all either, which is quite nice. So there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks left to fill. So I believe we want some beetles next. Now we have 5 different types of beetle. We're not going to add all of these in together, but I think we can have maybe 2 different types in here that will work together. Now eventually I would actually quite like to have all of these different types in their own tank, because I believe all the kind of reptile houses and like the creepy crawly type houses that I've seen in different zoos and in different animal farms and all the different types of things like that I've been to. I can't think of the name of them. Yeah, I can't remember the name of them. But all those reptile house type things and the creepy crawly houses I've seen, they always have each different species in its own tank, and the tank might only be like 12 inches across and maybe only about a foot deep as well, like a foot by a foot for a single tank. And you go in and they're all kind of like stacked on top of each other, but it gives them plenty of space, and it allows them to be housed overnight in maybe a different area within the creepy crawly house as well, and it allows you to have lots and lots of different species all in one area. So I think separating them out into these very small tanks here, the smallest we've got available to us at least, will really help to do that as well. It'll make it more realistic. So I think here we're going to go for the European stag beetle in this tank, and we're going to put 2 of those into there, unless they can't go with each other. But yep, it seems like they can. That's fine. In this one over here, we will go for the Royal Goliath beetle. That seems like it's going to be fine, so we can have 2 of those in there. We'll go for the Titan beetle in this one over here, so we'll put 2 of those in there. They look massive. They're huge. And I think in this last one here we want to go for something very, very different. I think we'll go for African giant millipede here. So 1 and tank is full. Wow, okay. That is big. Yeah, that's huge. So we'll go for that one in there. So we're going to actually have to fill all of these tanks in now with different vegetation, all of the food stuff which is available, which all these need, and just make sure we have fulfilled all of their different needs. So let me do that off camera, because you've seen it all before, and I will get back to you in a second. Well, it took a bit longer than I thought it would, but I've finally got everything in there. Now there's a couple of very, very interesting things with this, but I need to take you through just before we end today, when you're using these terrariums. It kind of struck me as obvious as soon as I found out, but you can't use the regular scenery within the terrariums. So all of the stuff you're used to using, the eelgrass and the Peppercalpura, all of that stuff doesn't work. None of the live rocks work, none of the scenery at all works. You have to use the specific terrarium scenery which has been added in with the mod. And to be fair, they do look incredible. They look amazing. I really like how they've done these. There's not too much variety in them at the moment. Of course that will change over time as the different mods are brought out for this. The sub mods, the different modules for this particular mod. Then it will add more scenery over time. But at the moment you're a little bit stuck with what you've got. And also, again, there's no search tags, so you can't really easily search for, say, terrarium plant. So you can't search for terrarium plants. It would be really handy if you can add in that search tag as well, because in here we can see we have the saltwater stuff over here. So if we scroll all the way down here and further down as well, we can see we have terrarium woods, we have terrarium plants, and we have terrarium caves. If we switch over to freshwater, this is where this menu becomes quite annoying because it always kind of resets itself and pushes it all the way back up to the top. And if we scroll down all the way through the paints again, you can see how far you have to come down past the theme decorations. Then we come to terrarium woods, terrarium plants, and terrarium caves and terrarium rocks. So you can see there's a decent amount of stuff. There's a lot of different rocks. There's only a couple of different cave options though, and there's a decent amount of plants, and there's only a couple of different types of wood. So this is what we've ended up with. I've also had to take out of this tank here, we've had to take the Brazilian wandering spider out of here, and instead I've added in an orchid mantis. So he's perfectly happy in there, just wandering around with different plants and different rocks in there. Over here I like this one. I don't want to go all the way down to the ground because it messes up if I do. It means that the rest of the game is really laggy as soon as that happens. But you can see just inside there we've got the spider. We have the giant huntsman spider in a giant cave within this tank here. The butterflies and the moths have all of this different plant life, all of these different flowers. I tried to pick the ones that actually have flowering, that are actual flowering plants to get the nectar from in there. And I also really do like, we've got this, the redback spider here. I really like this pipe here, and I'm hoping that I can actually add this to the regular normal tanks as well, because it looks really cool and I'd love to add it to those. But that is it. We can actually press play now and we can get, I've added 2 new members of staff into this room. They will level up, and as they do this will be much easier to go through. There is these new different types of food as well. I just want to go through these very quickly. We have frozen mice, we have nectar, we have live cricket cultures, also known as live insects. So on the tooltip here it says they need live insects, and the live cricket culture is what gives you the live insects. And then we have we've got vegetables, which the live crickets need. That's the last of the tunnel tanks being researched. And then we have fruit here as well. I love the fact that they've actually added in some new live cultures which need different types of food for them. And you can see these floating around now as well. Oh, I forgot one thing in here, one very important thing, which is we need, where are they going to be? Here we go, water canister dispenser. So we'll have to grab one of those for there as well, and we are going to say put that on priority, because this really does need to be done as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Right, Let's have a look at these very, very quickly. Go through that one and that one there. Okay, that is where we're going to end it for today. We've done a huge amount today. We've given our first look through the Megaterrarium mod. We've got the invertebrates and I think the other invertebrates mods installed. If there's any other ones that you want me to install, let me know. Kadar, if you're watching, take on board what I've said about, especially about the, I believe it's Kadar, yes it is. Yeah, so I said about the beginning of the episode, didn't I? Take on board what I said about the search tags. It'd be really good if we can have some proper search tags in here so we can easily navigate our way around this gigantic mod that you've built for us. It's brilliant, I love it. Can't say anything more about it, it's brilliant. So yeah, thank you very, very much for joining me today. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like, comment and subscribe on the video and to the channel, and I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me by subscribing to the channel and liking and commenting on the videos. Thanks. See you next time.